whether that is the truth. Are you raising your hand? You got a question?
What's going on?
How are you?
What's up?
Man, just living.
L-I-V-I-N.
Got the kids to bed.
Oh yeah.
I got a couple hours now, so yeah, man. It's time to have a couple cold daddies.
Come on now.
Word. Here
My
we go. They're popping
non-alcoholic
off.
ones.
What you got going on over there? What you sipping on?
That Heineken double alt.
Woo.
He got that high beer.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
high price beer.
High dollar beer.
High dollar beers.
Already popped my antibiotics and steroids that I've been on for 2 months. So can't wait to get off those things, man.
Oh, what you been on steroids for 2 months for?
I found out I had a bacterial infection in my sinuses, and they're all completely full, so I got to have sinus surgery in July.
Oh,
That is
no.
brutal.
And yeah, it started out, I thought I had something wrong with my heart because I would have like these vertigo and like fainting type spells. And I was like, I'm a 20-year smoker, so I was like, shit. This is it. It's the big one. I got little kids and
Been waiting for that phone call.
right, exactly. And so yeah, it would kick my heart into like tachycardia. It'd stay 120 to 160 beats for an hour, maybe 2 hours sometimes. And so I went to all the specialists, had all kinds of stuff checked out. My heart's fine. And I went to an ENT when I moved back to Mississippi, and he was like, "Yeah, man, this is bad. Let's get you fixed up." So yeah, been doing that and just getting over my 17th case of bronchitis for this year.
Man.
Thanks, kids.
No doubt. Bringing it home.
Oh yeah.
Bringing it home.
Man, so what's your first thoughts that go through your head when you think the worst? Like the doctor's call, so your first thought went to like smoking, and so
Yeah.
So what were the next thoughts that went through your head? Like, what are we doing with the guitar? Like, so what is your, where does your my mind goes to crazy places. Like I'm already thinking about what instruments I can sell so I can make a buck before I pass on. But what's going through your head? I'm a psychopath.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's just for me. It's just like, what is my wife gonna tell my kids?
Right.
About that, because I'm, for the first 3 years of their lives, I've been, for all intents and purposes, a stay-at-home dad. I work from home, so I'm like I'm the guy, and so yeah, I'm pretty pivotal in their lives right now, and that's really the main thing for me. It's not about like possessions or even other family. It's just like, what about my kids?
Right.
And yeah, it's kind of scary until you realize that whatever's happening is not going to kill you, and then you're like, oh, but then it's hard to shut that off, especially like right after having kids. Like you're really in survival mode, like your head's on a swivel all the time, and like
Yes.
every 30 seconds it's like, did they just do something that they're going to die from? So trying to get out of that, and then so yeah, it's been an interesting 3 years to say the least, but at least I have answers now, and yeah, excited to kind of get back to feeling semi-normal again, man. It's been so long.
Come on now.
Word. Ladies and gentlemen, Joey Plunkett.
Joey Plunkett's here, ladies and gentlemen. Hit your button.
That's right.
Whack,
Yes.
whack, whack.
Starting out with the heavy shit,
Man, we
Yeah.
got look at the timeout. We got this thing that has all of these buttons. You could put so many sounds. I have not used this thing in months. I should
Yeah.
just give that to you.
Yeah. But we've proven I cannot be trusted with that type of
But
power.
look, these only cost like 20. Would you like your own one of these?
Two of
so
them,
you
actually.
could just have all of your sounds.
Yeah, so I could have 30 sounds.
All right, so we gonna get Chuck a stream deck so he can have his own noises. You in your own time get to make up whatever noise.
That is
I'm not doing.
again, no one man. should
I'm
have all
not
that power.
downloading anything for you. You are going to do the
All
work,
right, we'll see.
or there's going to be one noise, and that's all you get.
Mexican air horn. Hey, Joey, take us back in time a little bit, man. Tell us about your musical history, how you got started in music. I got a particular question.
Why did you do this to yourself?
Why have you afflicted yourself with
How
this?
would you ever?
I got a way back question. Burton and I have a friend, actually a family that are kin to y'all, the Ellises.
Yep.
And I've heard growing up that the Ellises were an Elvis family, but the Plunketts were a Beatles family.
This is true. This is
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about coming up
entirely
with music.
Man, it started young. I'd been singing as long as I can remember. My dad was a minister of music, so music was all over our house all the time. And we used to take trips to my grandmother's house. She lived in central Mississippi, and we were up in the Delta in Clarksdale. And we had these tapes like Cruising Classics, Volume 1, 2, and 3. And it was like 50s to the 70s, and just like singing Chicago and Three Dog Night and the Beatles and all this different stuff. And that's kind of one of my first childhood memories of really just being kind of immersed in music. And
Hey Joey, can you turn your mic up a little bit?
yes, I can.
Come on up with it one time.
All right, is that better?
Keep on coming.
Keep on coming. Okay, how about that?
There, that's great. That's good.
Already by far best sounding guest and friend of the show that we've had so far.
Thank
The
you.
audio quality is incredible compared to who else has done a
Paul Mazzano had good, and then J.R. Carroll hired a ringer to like an actual studio engineer.
I think I always forget about that because I just remember him sitting in the car eating fast food and talking to us on that one stream. So I forget about the ringer that he brought in.
My audio, by the way, is brought to you by ZipRecruiter.
There you go. Now it sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, go ahead. I cut you off, man.
Oh yeah, so just kept doing music, learned how to play guitar mid-teens, and played in a little band, which I'm actually having a reunion with.
Come on now.
At the end of May up in Oxford at Harrison's. My first band, her first high school band, and they were gracious enough to let me play and sing, even though I sucked really bad.
How long were you guys together doing that?
2 years, roughly. They all went off to college. They were a couple years older than me, and so after they went to college, my cousin Vince, who grew up in Brazil, he moved in with me to go his senior year in the States, and the summer he came down, he got a Yamaha 4-track.
Hallelujah.
So, yeah. So man, we made albums after album of terrible songs and loved it. Like gave them to everybody that would listen to it, and that started my love of writing songs and recording. And,
I also had an album that we recorded on a 4-track at my house. It was a Christian album called Plastic Joy.
nice.
That sounds like a very condescending title.
I feel like nobody tops my worst album name. Like I feel like there are just so many great jokes that are just there. I just laid it up for people, and they're like, "Plastic Joy."
Yeah.
So,
An
did you
album,
have
yeah.
any great album names coming up?
Man, they were all inside jokes. Like
Yeah.
everybody, like every single album was named something that was an inside joke just to us because it was funny, So every time I go look through all the tapes, I would just see those names. One of them was like he, she, it, and then you read it together. There was no real space between it, So,
It's a good one.
and just little things like we went and played a show somewhere, and some guy, his whole thing was like, he didn't know us from anybody, and he was like, come and visit. Whenever you want to, just come on and visit. So our first album was called Come and Visit.
Come and visit.
Yeah.
I love that. So you and Vince get together, and you just start basically DIY rock and roll with a 4-track recorder, right?
Yeah, we had a couple of microphones, and we had like a drum kit and an organ and stuff in my church basement. That was like a youth room. It used to be a youth room.
Yes.
So we just set up down there, and we would get up every morning, go to the double quick, and load up on Dr. Pepper and snacks and stuff and spend the whole day up there. And then just take the 4-track back to my house and keep recording in my room at night. And so yeah, we just we did as much as we possibly could in that year and a half that he lived with me. And then he went to college. I finished out my senior year, and they started the band called Geronimo Rex. So when I went to college, I joined up. I didn't play bass, but they needed a bass player because they already had 2 guitarists. And so yeah, and then kind of did that all through college, and had pretty decent regional success with that. Got on the radio, a few stations, and played some decent sized shows. And yeah.
And let's talk about how none of it was worth it. Played them decent sized shows, but got back pain for 30 years.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, we didn't make great financial decisions or anything
Yeah.
like that. So
There was no 401k happening in any of these towns.
no, man, we like bought a van and we all moved into a house together, and
Yeah.
it was just the classic thing of like, don't do this,
Yep.
But dropped out of college thinking like, oh, this is my ticket. This is gonna be a success right here, and you learn some lessons. And but it was a really fun time. It was a cool time because I learned a lot about writing. I learned a ton about harmony, and yeah, it was really cool being in that with Jeremy and Richie Lister, and being able to sing with those guys. That was a totally different experience for me, and yeah, it was tough at the time, because every band has those dynamics where it's like, I love you this week, I hate you this week. But looking back on it now, I'm nothing but grateful for the experience,
Right.
Yeah, I feel like we used to have those relationships with other people. Now I just only have that relationship with myself.
Yes.
Love you this week, hate you next week.
And like with the same passion that I used to hate a drummer, like I bring that to myself, and it was a furious passion that I had sometimes towards a drummer or electric guitar player. I also bring that same smoke to myself.
That heat.
So
It's interesting enough because we'll get into that maybe later when we start talking about lyrics and stuff. But that's where like all my new songs that I started doing as a solo artist have come out of that place of having that kind of relationship with myself.
why don't you sing us a song about that, man? Why don't you take us there?
Okay. Yeah. I guess prefacing all that really. I played after the band broke up. I spent the next 10, 12 years like playing just playing music as much as I could. I worked all kinds of different jobs, construction, whatever I could to like subsidize playing music. And then I moved to Nebraska for about 6 years. And when I first moved to Nebraska, I stopped playing music totally for at least a year and a half. Just burned out on it, and didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. I didn't know anybody up there. And so, yeah, eventually I bought a coffee shop. And I started hosting open mics at my coffee shop, and met some local musicians, and I kind of rediscovered my passion for writing songs and playing music and playing things really that just connected with people. And that's all I really cared about. So, yeah, anyway, this one is a new one, and it's called I'm on Fire. Wind is howling outside, and all the stations are static. My nerves begin to rattle like the rafters in the attic. My thoughts feel tired and my legs are restless as hell. 'Cause my mind can't decide if I'm wrestling with you or myself. I'm on fire from the inside out. There's no way to contain it now. It's a slow burn like July down south. I'm on fire from the inside out. The road is calling me back, somewhere I was never wanted. And these ghosts from the past stuck around until that house was haunted. And my hands just shake when I think of the damage done. And the hell that I raised might be more than what I can atone. I'm on fire from the inside out. There's no way to contain it now. It's a slow burn like July down south. I'm on fire from the inside out. My head's full of smoke, steady choking on words I can't use. But I need you to know you're the one thing that I care to lose. I'm on fire from the inside out. There's no way to contain it now. It's a slow burn like July down south. I'm on fire from the inside out. It's a slow burn like July down south. I'm on fire from the inside out.
Come on now.
Here we are,
Come on now.
man. So
What a chorus, man.
I like that chorus.
What a hell of a chorus.
I like the chord
Thanks, man.
choices. It's really cool. Hey, so you grew up in Jackson, Mississippi. Where'd you grow up? It's not Jackson. You're from where you from?
Clarksdale.
Clarksdale. That's right.
Clarksdale. I grew up across the cotton field from Muddy Waters' childhood home.
So we grow up in this environment, and we talk about this a lot here, that it is kind of difficult to grow up in this environment and not be very influenced by religion.
Yep.
So what was your childhood like when it comes to church and stuff like that? You do a lot of music at church?
Yeah, I did music at church pretty much till I graduated high school, and then once I went to college, I kind of got out of it. Mm-hmm. Just wanted to. Thanks, Jordan. I just kind of wanted to explore other things, and you know, when your parent is a minister, you're kind of expected to be there. And,
Let's just go ahead and get it. But let's just go on ahead. Both of our parents are ministers. There's going to be a time where I'm going to talk some shit about church tonight. One thing I do want to say while you were like telling your story about playing songs in the youth room, church people have put up with a lot of shitty music throughout the years. So all of the church folks that have allowed the worst musicians to make really loud noises in their place,
Kids.
I'll give them that.
Unqualified kids.
I won't give them a whole hell of a lot more, but that is one thing. They allowed us to be shitty and loud regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then when you look at the pinnacle of Christian music, you realize they also didn't expect you to grow a whole lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I went kind of from playing in, I mean, I was kind of around the start of praise bands and stuff when I was in the last part of high school. But
I've heard about him.
you know, I went to college and got into a really good choir, and that's what I loved. I loved choir. I like harmonizing with other people, and I really wanted to direct more than anything, because I feel like a director is almost like a painter. You're using all of these colors to create this living painting, and I love that, you know. So, but yeah, I got done with the hypocrisy, and I wanted to see, and then also the expectations. It's not like my parents were really, you know, you're going to do this or else. It wasn't like that. It was more that there were expectations from other people's parents, that because you're a minister's kid, you're supposed to be the example for their kid. So, and you're just sitting back thinking like, well, I'm human too, you know, I'm no different than your kid. So why do you have that expectation of me when my parents don't even have that expectation of me? So, you know, I was a little bitter with the whole experience. But still felt this real spiritual type pull at my core, because, you know, like when you grow up in that, that's how you relate to your family, that's how you relate to your community, all that. So it's very difficult to try to figure out a roadmap when that's all you've known. And so yeah, like over the next, I don't know, over the next 10 years, it was a little bit of a deconstruction there. But at the same time, I think I found a faith that I can be with, you know, that doesn't really have anything to do with religion or any religions. And I'm not against it. Like, hey man, if that's the way that I love that somebody put it, Joseph Campbell actually, is like, you know, different religions are like different softwares. And some people are really great with Word. Some people are really great with, you know, Apache or whatever. And for somebody like me, I like to dabble with different softwares. I like to figure out, you know, kind of what the truth is in the code.
He's already signed up to your
all the-
damn cult, hadn't he? Are you already a part of the cult? Like,
Yeah.
Joey's the
Did he-
minister of music of my cult.
did he get the minister of music job over me?
Yeah, I didn't want it to look like nepotism because your dad was Mike Brister.
I'm like, they already have started the cult, and I've been hearing rumors about the secret invites, and it sounds like Joey's already in the club, and I
man.
haven't made it yet.
I've had.
I wasn't really expecting to talk about this, but you know, it actually does play an important role in kind of how I've developed as a person over the
Huge.
last 20 years. You know,
Huge.
because like, you know, I think at the core, like I say, I'm not dogging anybody or dogging any religion. That's
I'll
your,
dog some folks.
that's your deal. Yeah, but I don't, you know, that's not my deal. So it's more like I care about how you treat people. I care about how you carry yourself more than what you say, and that's how I want to be. And man, I'm not great at it, and I'll never say that I'm perfect at all. So, but I
All right,
over
so
the,
let
over,
me
over
let
the
me
course.
let me
the
call
last thing I'll-
bullshit. I'm gonna call bullshit on all of it.
Call it.
Let me just tell you how you are great. He's already doing the whole like I'm not good at this thing. Let me just talk about Joey Plunkett for a second. So we've taught in person how many times? Less than 5.
A handful, yeah.
Handful, right? I throughout my past couple of years are really struggling to know what kind of relationship I want to have with music, what kind of relationship I want to have with all of this stuff that we're doing. I would argue that you are in the top 3 of people who have been a huge help to me in my life. And so I don't, all these words he's saying about him not being great at things, I just want everybody to know is bullshit. I've talked to you so many times to to where most people, when I like tell like what I'm going through or that some things that I'm struggling with, they're just like, you'll be fine, whatever. But like you have a way of encouraging people. You're just a wise dude, and you have a way of sharing wisdom to people in a loving way. Where when people come to me, I joke about a lot of things, and I just want to say I appreciate you so much for the wisdom that you've shared with me over the past couple of years. I feel like I don't know you at all. I definitely know your sister a lot better than I know you, or I've spent more time with her. But I feel like I have a connection with you that I haven't had with many people that I've only spoken with a few times. So like, you're not going to talk about how shitty you are because I'm not going to allow it.
Yeah, he really gets jealous of anybody else spending time talking about themselves being shitty.
Only me.
It's his job. He's like, don't get on my bit.
My bit is being the worst at everything. So like tonight is your night. We are celebrating you.
Okay, I will cease with the self-deprecation and
that's my job.
Say that I'm thankful, man. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you and kind of see your journey over the last few years. It's really inspired me, and I think more than anything, when I see people get down on themselves or kind of feel like, like when you're in it, you can't see the big picture all the time, but somebody on the outside can look at it and go, "Oh, look at all this," So sometimes it helps to have somebody that doesn't have a dog in the fight to say, yeah, man, but you're doing this and you're doing it great, and this resonates with these people, and to try to be able to encourage that kind of thing, because I've needed those people in my life as well, and I really want to be that for other people that I meet, regardless of how well I know them.
Well, you are that, man. But let's get into some inside drama. So Cody, one of our community members, said, "Can we just talk for 1 second about how this guy apparently has stellar Wi-Fi and you can clearly hear him, and all his shit is hung on the wall? I'd follow his cult, I guess." So there's this massive debate around whether you should hang a guitar on the wall or should you not. We need you to weigh in on your opinion of your thoughts on the matter.
Seems evident.
But there's got to be a reason.
Here's my take on it. When you're cramped into a small space, you got to have floor space. So you can have, 30 guitars on the floor, or you can hang them on the wall and let them be the art that they are. If I had $80,000 guitars, that'd probably be a different story. But I don't think any of my guitars cost over $1,200. So
$80,000. When I talk about an expensive guitar, I'm like, $800.
Yeah.
He went to $80,000.
I mean, I only have two guitars that I paid more than $1,000 for.
There you go.
One of them was this year, and one of them was it was like the first like real good acoustic that I got. I put it on layaway for a solid year, and took me forever to pay that off at Lakeland Music, but man, that one it got me through a lot of gigs.
Hey Joe, can you bump yourself up just a little bit more? And
Yeah, I can. I scooted back when I was singing.
Yeah, so I think Menders had a great question here earlier.
Sure.
Thank you, Menders. She said, "I'd love to hear how your parents have adjusted to y'all growing into your own persons with different views on faith and religion." I personally would love to know how that relationship has gone with you and your parents.
Well, my dad and I had quite a lot of conversations about that, and my grandfather too. And honestly, that's where my former Instagram handle came from, Pontius Plunkett. My grandfather was like so against me playing rock music in bars and stuff that me and Vince always joked with him that we would name our firstborn sons Pontius Plunkett and Judas Johnston, and, which we obviously didn't. But so it became my email and that kind of shit. But I had some really deep conversations with my dad, and I think the most important thing to him was not necessarily like what religion I was or wasn't involved in, but just knowing where my heart was, knowing that I still had a heart for people, that I still had kind of the love and compassion ethic of Christ. And that was my whole point from the beginning of kind of getting out of it, was that it doesn't matter how I say this. It doesn't matter what words I use. What matters is how I treat people.
Yeah.
Because if any God knows my heart and he sees how I treat people, then that should matter more than what name I use.
Yeah.
So once we kind of crossed that threshold, and he understood that I hadn't forsaken my morals, I hadn't forsaken my upbringing or any of that, then, you know, we were able to have, you know, productive conversations. And my dad's one of my best friends still. And, you know, they don't judge me for that, you know, and that's been, I think it's really hard for parents sometimes to see that in their children and to accept that, hey, maybe my child is growing out of this, and maybe my child sees something that I don't. Mm-hmm. But for them to have the grace to allow me to, you know, to follow my own path, I'll always be grateful for that to them, you know. So,
Well, speaking of grateful,
it's not a point of contention anymore, you know.
That's great, man. Speaking of grateful, people in the chat are debating on whether you should be the new leader of this channel.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a quiet coup happening over here.
Which there's always chaos going around. By the way, what's up, Alan? Good to see you,
What
buddy.
up?
Friend of the show, Corduroy Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Where are your noises?
Yeah, I can't see the chat, so, you know.
You can't see the chat at all?
No, I can't, but
If
that's all right.
If I added it right here, would you be able to see it? Like
It
where it says
says-
that new comments will display here?
Yeah, it says that, but that's all I'm able to see is new
Yeah,
comments
once
will
people
display
start
here.
typing, you'll be able to see it.
Okay.
So people are debating on whether you should be the leader of this channel, and they have some questions for you.
Okay. Yeah, fire away.
Cody said, I'm a big fan of practical and direct. What is his grit level? So at our family reunion this year, we decided we were going to write a song called Go and Grit. And grit, like how much fight you got in you? Do you? What's your scale of 1 to 10? What's your grit level?
For most things, if I have to, my grit level's a 9.
Oh shoot!
But you know, I'm much better at choosing which hills I'm going to die upon.
He
these
feels
days.
like a gritty guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see. I've never seen you keyed up before. I don't think I would like it.
No.
I think you're a quiet type of dangerous.
Well, this is not like a fight necessarily, just a guy that's got grit who can get the job done. You know, we're
yeah.
talking about laying down a slab.
So I do like.
I can do that.
I do like this idea of like. I mean, you know, it's the mid to late '90s, probably a little bit later for you, but we're all like thinking about what we want to do with music, and we're all watching MTV and VH1, and we're all have this idea of what we
Y'all
like
were.
music to
I
be.
was watching Cameron, the champion, or whatever. My parent,
Carmen.
Carmen, the champion with the
Cameron.
boxing ring.
Yeah.
That was actually my first concert. It was Carmen.
Yeah.
When I was like 13 or something. Cameron.
Cameron.
Yeah.
What's the Christian actor? James Cameron.
Kurt Cameron.
Kurt.
Kurt Carmen.
Yeah.
Kurt Carmen. So this is the thing that I love about it is like while we were all like having these ideas and maybe even getting together and playing with some of our friends, you guys were trying any way you could to just make as much music as possible. You guys were just like in there grinding it out while I think a lot of us were just thinking about it. You know what I mean? I think that lends itself towards a high grit level, that like do-it-yourself attitude, you know, especially when you're young and just like you've got tons of inspiration, tons of shitty ideas, and you just like, there's no stopping you, you know? And I was always just like, yeah, I'm going to be awesome one day. And I should have been down there with that 4-track recorder, recording all my bad ideas.
Getting awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think it's just more out of necessity. Like, you do it out of necessity, and you do it yourself because, like, you can't afford to hire anybody else, especially back then. So it's like, hey, I can bounce all these tracks and ping pong this and that, and then I can have 10 instruments on the same track, and then I can listen to it in my car. Are you kidding me? And then I can give it to my friends and really think that it's like, be that naive to think, man, this really sounds good, And so yeah, I mean, like that, but that's the drive. That's the thing that's where it's fun, because you're not thinking about like financial success or any of that back then.
Speak for yourself.
You were always.
I mean,
I was always trying to make a dollar. Y'all better speak for yourself. Look, I don't know why, but I was always trying to make a dollar. When I learned that I could go sing these Christian songs and they would give me money, come on now. I've been a businessman from day one.
Yep.
Sorry.
That was never my strong suit, and
Fair
still
enough.
isn't.
That's why I should have been a manager of like an industry that makes money, not music. Like I should have picked a different path. I picked teaching and music.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
and but then you grow, like to Chuck's point. After that, you kind of grow into like you get deeper into music, and you think, oh man, this stuff I'm writing is shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm never going to be as good as all these people that I love. But you still have that, kind of stupid belief that maybe you could be, that maybe one day you'll allow yourself to be on that same pedestal as your hero, when in reality, it's never going to happen. You're never going to actually see yourself as, I'm as good as my hero, And that was a big thing for me to learn, I think, in my 20s. I mean, shit. I wrote all kinds of lyrics, when I first started, and then after I got in a band with Vince, man, he was so good at lyrics, and I was just like, my stuff is never going to be that good, so I just quit. I just stopped writing lyrics for almost 20 years.
No kidding.
Damn.
Like, I was the messenger. Like he would write, like we would talk about all of this stuff, because we're kind of both going through this deconstruction type thing together, and talking about all of these different ideas, but he had a way of saying it that I just couldn't say when I wrote things down. But I had a way of delivering that message that he couldn't do that kind of delivery. So yeah, I mean, it's like you learn by proximity in a way. So when the lyrics finally started coming back out again in the last 3 years, it's like, oh, I do have something to say, and I don't have to compare myself to anybody, and now I actually can say the things that I wanted to say when I was 20 years old, but I just hadn't had enough life experience to really say those things,
And nobody has ever said what I'm about to say about you, about me. But one of my favorite things about you and your music is you can tell that it is you. Like it feels so authentic. And hearing that you didn't write for 20 years, it makes so much sense, because it's like, this man has had plenty of time to think about what kind of songs he wants to write. You had plenty of time to figure out all right, Bon Jovi's not my thing. Yep. All right.
Glad I didn't try to write any Bon Jovi songs.
I feel like you thought through it where I did it live on the internet. And how did you get to the point to where, because I feel like so often as a songwriter, I have an idea of the story I want to tell, and it's impossible for me to feel like I'm doing it the way I want to do it, because it's always well, maybe I don't want to sound like this guy, or I don't want to sound like the other guy. How have you gotten to a point where your songs are authentic and they're you? Because I feel like your songs that you're writing are definitely... and it doesn't happen much on the internet. I hear a lot of people on the internet make music, and I do not feel like it's that authentic. I feel like they're trying to sound like somebody else, but I totally feel like you are sounding like a confident Joey, like writing these songs. So what's been your process to get to that point?
It's been a 20-year journey.
Man,
Honestly, I always hated how my voice sounded. I really didn't like it.
when you sang that first song and you were in those low registers, Chuck's been trying to get me to sing in lower registers for a long time. And as soon as you started singing it, I was just like, it's right where
That
it
20
needs
years
to
of
be.
smoking paid off too,
That's
bro. I
it.
gotta say
It
that
was-
investment. Yeah.
Yeah, it cost me a lot of money to get those low notes. But no, in all honesty, like I never really did like my voice very much.
Same.
I never liked hearing it recorded.
Same.
And then I was in a band called Paperclip Scientist with a Jackson musician called Adib Sabir. And man, Adib just has this voice that's just butter. I mean, it's absolute butter. And so learning how to sing kind of the songs like he did in a way opened up this part of my voice that I'd been searching for a long, long time. And kind of gave me this, it's like I connected with my voice. And then I didn't know what kind of music, the reason I haven't released any solo albums in ever is because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, and I didn't know what my sound was or what was authentic to me. I mean, I grew up, like in high school, I loved alt country stuff, you know, Sunvolt, Wilco, the Jayhawks, just all that kind of stuff, like the Blue Mountain. That's the stuff that kind of lit me up a lot. But I never could do it. I just had this really kind of young sounding voice that with no experience, and nobody's going to listen to, you know, a kid, George Strait, sing a song. And but in the last couple of years, the last 3 years or so, I started writing some music for sync licensing, and we did this song called Jordan, I agree with you there. That was a great record. Golden Smog, yep, absolutely. Anyway, there was a brief that wanted something that was kind of like upbeat folk, Americana. So Vince and I wrote this song together called "Let's Go Home," and pitched it, and it got signed to an agency. And then like, man, I kind of like the way I sound on that. And so we wrote another one called Lighthouse. And I think that was, for me, like, it was like, this feels like me. This feels like what I've wanted to do for the last 20 years and just didn't know how to do it. And then when the lyrics started flowing out, the music just started flowing out. And I just didn't question it. I just kind of go with it. Like, I don't really sit down and think, I'd like to write a song like this or like that. It's just more like when I hear that line, when I hear that melody, when I hear like it's usually one line with a lyric that kind of gets me interested in the story. And then it may take me a little while, but the story eventually comes out. And
Why don't you and your authentic ass going ahead and sing us a song while the rest of us are over here faking everything? Why don't you show us how easy it is?
I was just gonna
Man.
say, like, I feel that so much of my talent is faking.
Yes.
Like, so much of my talent is in bullshit.
As a
actual-
teacher,
yeah.
like, that is all I do all day. Pretend like I know what I'm doing. And I've done the same thing for 20-something years in music. Like, so just get you a little authentic, you figured out your life ass, and sing us a damn song. Jesus.
do you want something? What do you want?
Authentic.
You want upbeat?
I want something
You want
authentic.
Well,
Because you're
well,
Mr.
damn.
Authentic.
Well, I spent so many years being inauthentic that it finally feels good to just and that's where a lot of these songs come from. I had a friend ask me the other day, he's like, "What are these lyrics about, man?" I was like, "They're not about anybody in particular. It's like, it's me trying to be as honest with myself as I possibly can." So, so let me do this. This song is called The people on TikTok call it the Kingdom of Change, and I started calling it I Am the Ghost, because that was the first line. I'm the ghost that sits in your shadow. And there's a lot of I and you in there. And it could be talking about somebody, but for me, like when I'm having dialogue with myself, sometimes I say, I need to X, Y, Z. Or when I'm actually getting on to myself, I'll say like, man, you need to do this, you know? So it's a lot of I and you, but it's the same person. And it goes back to what you were talking about in the beginning of having that relationship with yourself to where it's both of you. It's I and you at the same time. So this song is about that. I am a spark that ignites what's around me. I breathe new life into death and decay. I am the star that shines in the night sky, lighting the path when you can't see the way. I am the ghost that sits in your shadow, haunting all those you left on the way. I am the source of my own discontent, but I hold the keys to the kingdom of change. I am the pit that you feel in your stomach when you swallow the guilt you never could face. I am the thorn that got stuck in your side when you had too much pride to admit all your shame. I am the ghost that sits in your shadow, haunting all those you left on the way. I am the source of my own discontent, but I hold the keys to the kingdom of change. I am the quiet in the midst of the morning, after your nightmares kept you awake. I am the echo that rolled through the canyon when you cried out for your soul to be saved. I am the ghost that sits in your shadow, haunting all those you left on the way. I am the source of my own discontent, but I hold the keys to the kingdom of change. Yes, I hold the keys to the kingdom of change.
Woo!
We're over here getting in our feels a little bit.
Like, you can tell we love a song when in the middle of the song I just looked over at Chuck and I was like, I love you, man. We cheers to each other. You get a lot of great compliments from a lot of great folks.
Yeah, I
Mindras-
really appreciate it. I really do. It means a lot to me. And that's honestly, that's why I started a TikTok page. That's why I kept writing music. I don't really give a shit about success anymore.
Come on now.
My definition of success is totally different than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right now, all I care about is whether or not what I'm doing actually resonates with anybody. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if that's one person or 1,000 people. It does not matter. But also, I care about whether or not it resonates with me, because if it doesn't resonate with me, then it's not worth doing, in my opinion. So, yeah, it really means a lot for people to say, hey, I dig this, you know, I felt that. For you guys to cheers each other, you know, that means I've done my job as a writer. So, yeah, I appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about that fantastic lyric. Now, normally, you know, I've done over 200 reaction videos, and I would say in at least 150 of them, conservatively, could be easily 175, I have stopped a song, and then I have tried to read back the lyric or say the lyric from the song that I just heard the lyric of. And in 150 of them, I always mess up whatever
I've got
lyric
it,
is.
though. I've got it.
I've got it. That's what I'm
You
saying.
have it?
It's so
Do
good.
you want to say it together?
I hold the keys.
Wait, no. It's I am the source.
You gonna go way back. I'm not going that far back. Are you hitting with
I
the
think
first
we
one?
know. I think we understand who won this one. Everybody.
I'm admitting that I'm the worst. I'm the source?
So I am the source of my own. What is the lyric?
Ah!
Right.
Got him.
Because I don't want to say desperation.
I'm the source of my own discontent.
Discontentment. Yeah. But I hold the keys to the kingdom of change, which is the one that Bert loves so much. But I remembered the lyric before it, and I knew he was just going to say the second one.
The point I'm trying to make is that I never remember a lyric, and I finally remember a lyric, and this guy's going to talk over my lyric.
He didn't remember
I was
this
gonna
one.
prove that I knew the lyric. Like, I swear to God, Joey, every lyric I've ever stopped and been like, oh, man, that's such a great lyric. He said,
We have to back
look
it up.
at Chuck.
We have to back it up.
What did he say? So just explain either one of those lyrics. Kind of, I think they are the perfect personification of the kind of wise man that you are. Like, I see you as just an old Gandalf, just wisdom beyond your years. Like, what? Just break those lyrics down for us, because like I could obviously start talking about how much they hit me when I heard it, but like where are they coming from? By the way, Josh Henson said, "Got goosebumps, man. I felt every word pouring out of you."
Well, they came, young hobbit, from. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Josh. I appreciate that, man. Like, just realizing that I'm the source of most of my own problems.
Preach.
You know.
Except one of my coworkers.
I got a coworker too.
Except that one
There's
coworker
that one
I'm thinking
guy.
about.
There's always that one guy.
It's always that one coworker's fault but it's only the one that I have. The ones that y'all have don't really do anything, but the ones I have.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
That person's the source.
That's where it comes from. Honestly, is you know, I realize how much of my own strife I cause, and more so what I allow to happen. And I realize that I'm the one who has agency over how I allow things to affect me. And it wasn't always like that, because I'm very much an empath, and I feel really deeply, you know. But over the last 5 or 6 years, I have learned that I have a say in how deeply I want to feel something, how deeply how much of that I want to carry. Because if I don't make that decision, then it's so easy for that to just carry me down into a spiral where it's like 3 or 4 months, I won't talk to anybody, you know? And now that I have kids, I can't do that, you know?
Oh, come on now. That's the hardest thing for me.
And then also admitting to myself that, like, just because you choose not to go down into the well every time, it doesn't mean that you don't care.
Right.
It just means that, you know, like, you know what it is that you can carry and what's not yours to carry, because I feel like all my life I've carried all this extra weight that was never really meant for my shoulders, you know?
Okay, can I stop you there and ask? So as you mentioned it earlier, but I want you to kind of go a little deeper on the weight that minister kids carry. It's not something that I've thought about honestly a lot, because like I listened to Bottles and Bibles by Tyler Childers, and it talks about the weight that ministers carry and having everybody judge everything that they do. But I mean, I'm sure I've thought of it before. Like I've never. It's been a long time since I sat down and thought about the weight that a minister's kid carries of being an example. And because like I really I didn't break a rule until I was in college.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything that I wasn't supposed to do. Like I obviously, like, there was some typical like teenagery things that, like, I was mean to a teacher one day, or like
You
that
burned
kind of
down
stuff.
that barn right outside Brookhaven.
I didn't burn down no barns yet.
We're not admitting it still.
But it really made me like, I was such a goody two shoes for so long, and I guess I had never really thought about how the weight of being my dad's son, how big of a deal was that? I'm gonna think on myself in the future, like tonight, later on, because I think that's a really profound thought. But what was that like for you?
Well, by extension, you are, you know, like your parents' reputation is on your shoulders.
Yep.
And, you know, whether that's explicitly said or not. And it's not really that my dad ever said, you know, you represent me, so, you know, you better watch what you're doing. It wasn't like that. It was just more like this, you just get this feeling that there are extra eyes on you that aren't really on anybody else. And I don't know that it necessarily, I felt the weight of that when I was fully in it. But when I had a chance to actually step back, it was like, man, I have lived my entire life under these expectations of everybody except for myself.
Come on now.
You know, and I didn't even know what my expectations were of me. Because I just did, you know, I did what everybody else thought I should do. So I never felt that kind of freedom to just be able to say, hey, this is what I like, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I expect of myself. And I really don't give a shit what you think, you know. I never had that. I never did that until much later in life. And I think when I got out from under that, and then got out from under feeling like every thought, every action, every thought, every little thing was either I'm going to heaven, I'm going to hell. It's just like this constant scoreboard, you know. So when I got rid of all of that thinking, it was just like, okay, you know, now I can just like truly try to be who I am, rather than trying to dance this fine line of what I think everybody else expects of me. And maybe a lot of it was assumption. I've looked at that part of it too. But you still feel that. And it takes a lot to get out of that. And it takes a lot to kind of learn how to navigate the world and people from a different perspective, you know. Because I feel like that's what life is. It's just a bunch of, it's perspective, and your perspective changes as you learn things. So when you find different ways of looking at something, it's kind of like you know, another part of it is illuminated. And maybe that's not the part that's always illuminated, but the more you walk around it, it's like, oh, I didn't know this was here, and this is really interesting. Or I didn't know that was there, and that's the farthest thing from me that I want to see, you know. But either way, you have to be open to actually having things illuminated before you, to decide whether or not that's where you want to go.
No doubt.
So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but
I mean,
that's part of the ways that I worked out of feeling that weight.
Right. And I think that for me, I think you felt a lot of outward pressure, and I always felt, and maybe this goes along with it. I always felt a lot of shame and guilt, like everything that happened was kind of like my fault. Even if somebody else messed up and got mad at me, it was really easy for me to absorb a lot of guilt. And I don't know, I don't. There might be a little bit about that. That's in my personality naturally, but man, I think the one of the most detrimental teachings is the concept that you are somehow born wretched. Like you just are, as you are, disgusting and unfit and unlovable and unworthy. And I know that the point of that is at the end to glorify God, the idea of glorifying God by recognizing our wretchedness. But I also think it's just toxic for children to be brought up with that mindset, that worldview, that they are constantly going to be striving for a kind of invisible and arguably unattainable sense of well-being and sufficiency and safety, you know?
I totally understand that. I don't think mom was quite as stringent, but it was definitely there. And when I think about my own kids and I look at their innocence, and I'm just amazed at like the goodness in them.
Yeah, my kid is so good, man. Like so good.
And it's like it's not until you teach them how to be deceitful or something that they actually are really deceitful. But
Right.
like I can't help but look at my kids and see love in its truest and purest form. And like I don't know, man. That's what I want to get back to. That's what I want to feel for myself, for others, without all of this external filter on it, And but you're right, man, about and that's what, like that last song, on the pit that you feel in your stomach when you swallow the guilt that you never could face. That's where that came from. Is exactly what you're talking about. There's a lot of guilt and shame associated when you grow up in that, and
Yeah.
trying to work out of that as an adult and tell yourself, I'm not responsible for all of this extra guilt and shame that I internalized. Because all of those voices start out as somebody else's voice, and then you internalize them enough to where that's your voice now, and you're the one who's saying these things to you, and it's very hard to separate. Because I heard somebody say the other day that we have, just millions or trillions of thoughts or whatever, and like 80% of them are negative.
Believe
So
that.
Yeah.
so yeah, like how do you latch on to that 20% and try to balance it a little bit more? I think that's something that everybody struggles with because we're all human. We all have so much more in common than we do different. We all feel the same emotions through different experiences, of course, but like that's the core. That's what connects us. That's the spark that connects me to you. Whatever you want to call that, however you want to say it, that's it. But when you look at somebody and you feel that spark, and there's no separation between you anymore. And those are the kind of connections I'm trying to have in my 40s that I had a little bit when I was growing up, but I didn't see them as that. I couldn't understand what that was, then. But that's the kind of wonder that I want my kids to have. That's the most important thing to me nowadays. And to be able to kind of say that within the music without being too on the nose about it. Some people are like really, really great at metaphor and
Woo! Not me.
but I'm more of, I have metaphor, but I'm much more comfortable just plainly speaking.
Yeah, so I did. I had a conversation with another songwriter, and we kind of talked about how Southern men are typically very straight shooters when it comes to storytelling. And I don't know about your growing up, but like my grandparents, my grandfather hadn't used a metaphor in his damn life. Like he didn't know what a metaphor is, but it's the way that you tell your story. Like they like my grandparents never would say fancy words, but he would tell it in a way that it was like magical, you know? And I feel like that's definitely a Southern thing that I enjoy. Some people get on to me about how literal I am with the words that I write, or how like just straight out saying stuff. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, because and that was the thing that I kind of had to get over. It's like there's nothing wrong with just saying stuff. It doesn't necessarily matter if you're writing Shakespeare or whoever your hero is. Like two of my favorite lyricists of all time are Matthew Ryan and Joe Henry. Just amazing what they do with words, man. The language, and Tom Waits too. He's up there on top for me. I love the way that they use language, but like sometimes they say something so profound that is super simple.
Yeah.
But it's how they say it. Just like you're talking about, your grandfather telling a story. There, it's about how you say it.
I feel like Theo Vaughn, as a comedian, is the perfect example of that. Like, Theo is not saying anything brilliant,
No.
but it's just the delivery, it's the way it's said, and I feel like
It's also simple.
it's always simple. Like, I love that. And some of my favorite Isbell songs are some of the simpler songs, to where like some of the lyrics that he writes, I'm like, after studying it for a week, I figure out what I feel like it's about. But then, like, some of my favorite songwriters would just straight up say this like simple life truth, and you just be like,
Yeah.
why don't you hit us with another simple life truth? I know you got all of the life truths in that that wise guitar you got back there.
I don't know, man. Let's see. Let me look at my list here. All these songs are so new that
Hell yeah.
I don't even. Nobody's heard them except for if you've been on TikTok. I'm about to do a solo EP, like a 5-song acoustic EP.
Nice.
Yeah. So let's see.
Chad, I'm really hoping that lyric is in context to somebody else's comment, or is that just
Is that a quote from?
got to be a Kiki song,
Yeah.
right? Because love to lesbians is just a strange comment to just
Yeah.
throw out.
I had the heart of a lesbian, and it was delicious.
All right, take us home, buddy.
Let's see. May have to pull up some lyrics for this, but there's like a gnat that's flying around, bastard. All right. Let's see if I can do this and still see you guys. There we go. I don't even know what capo is on. do it all the time, forgetting names, fumbling numbers in my mind. I do it all the time, retracing footsteps to all the should-haves down the line. There was a time when everything was clear. I wasn't walking in circles, falling on hurdles, wasting years. There was a time when I knew myself well enough to let well enough alone and stop digging for bones. I do it all the time, mistaking faces for some new places I can hide. I do it all the time, picking up pieces till it appeases the voice inside. And there was a time when everything was clear. I wasn't walking in circles, falling on hurdles, wasting years. There was a time when I knew myself well enough to let well enough alone and stop digging for bones. Who's got the time for desperate measures when all the pressure makes you blind? And who's got the time for second guessing till the depression's all you find? And there was a time when everything was clear. I wasn't walking in circles, falling on hurdles, wasting years. There was a time when I knew myself well enough to let well enough alone and stop digging for bones.
Man, we're over here having so much behind the scenes debate about everything from how your sound setup works to what you sound like and what. Like I'm over here.
There's a lot of
envisioning-
debates going on.
Over here. I'm like, just like, man, just thinking about how awesome that would sound with the band, and like, it's exciting, man, to think that you've got all this new material and all this new stuff ahead of you. That's just sounds so good.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I'm really excited to share it. I didn't know what the hell to expect when I got on TikTok. I resisted getting on TikTok for a long time.
All right, let's talk about TikTok. You've kind of been doing really well over there, man. How what got you started over there? How's your experience been? And my favorite thing, unlike myself, is that you have like kind of built a little following on this authentic music that you're making. So how's that been?
I just started putting stuff out because I didn't know what to expect. And I was like, I got these songs, so let's just see if they resonate. I'm not going to do anything. Like, I hate self-promotion. I just, it's not, you know, I'm not good at it. I hate it. But, so, it's like, okay, well, let's just put it out there. Because if I just keep it to myself, it's going to be like all the 400 songs that I wrote in the last 20 years that never got released, that nobody's ever heard unless you know me. So why not just put this out? So I did. I just started posting videos. And, man, people have just been really kind about it. And more so, I've just said the coolest things about how, hey, you know, I feel seen. I feel like you really got me with that. you know, or like you said, somebody said, I don't know why I liked it. I can't put my finger on,
Right.
on why I like it. And it's that kind of thing. It's like, I can't explain why I like these songs that I'm doing either, because I've always really kind of hated what I did. But now, like when I go back and I look at my TikTok and I listen through these songs, it's not from a critical standpoint anymore. It's more like, I want to hear the rest of this song. I want to see where it goes. I want to see what it sounds like with a full band. That's totally new for me, because I have been like the master of criticism, of self-criticism when it comes to my own music.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, Chad, it's joeyplunkett.music on TikTok and Instagram. I just started the Instagram this week, having a different Instagram than what my personal one is. And people have been super kind there too, you know. So yeah, this is all kind of brand new for me. And I'm just not really questioning it. I'm just going to keep doing it, because it's, you know, some videos get a few thousand views, and then you got one that has like 120, and I don't give a shit. You know?
Come on now.
Right.
I just don't. You know, like it's fine. I don't know anything about the algorithm. I don't care about the algorithm. If people see it, then they see it, and that's great.
All right, so I've decided what cult I'm joining. It's not going to be yours. It's going to be Joey's. So
That seems to be the message throughout the chat all night long.
They're already auctioning off my channel with my real name on it. All right, so as a person who finds it very difficult to upload things and not give a shit about what happens, or as a songwriter who feels like I don't know what my own voice is and I'm very insecure about all that, what would your advice be for a friend that I have?
Be okay with it being messy, and be okay with it, like not having to have things be perfect, but also not. Here's the thing. I used to be a little bit like that, as far as anytime I would do something in front of anybody, I needed like the external validation to justify to myself like why I continued doing something.
My entire YouTube channel. Keep going.
And then in the last 3 years, that all of that changed for me. Like I don't need the external validation anymore, because I feel good about what I'm doing. And I know that as long as I'm being honest with myself, and I'm being as honest as I can about who I am and what I'm doing, then I can't fail. You know, because to me, like, success is not just financial. It's more about, like, what kind of joy do you actually get out of doing what you do? And if the reason that you're doing what you're doing is for somebody else to tell you that you're great, then, you know, why?
You could have played football.
Yeah, I could have played football. My friend could have played football. Actually, I was the kicker on the football team, so try again.
Yeah.
I was a football player.
But you were like
Four
a
sportsmen.
four-sport letterman, right?
Letterman.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. You know. But yeah, that's really it, man. It's like, be proud of what you're doing, and as long as you're doing your best, that's all that matters.
We've never done our best. That is never.
I think I put in a solid B- if I come at it with everything I got.
Our best.
nowadays.
Like we decided, a long time ago, that if we ever achieve a B- in any of this, it is like so farther exceeding any expectation.
I don't want to be too self-deprecating or harsh on myself, but I don't even deserve for me to give my best.
No.
Yeah. No. I deserve for me to kind of phone it in. That's what I get for being who I am.
We are quiet quitting this entire thing.
Everything.
We accept the love that we feel like we deserve.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And that's what it boils down to.
And everybody else is just too confident about themselves. They need to come on.
So Joey, this is where Bert and I get in a fight. Is like my philosophy is similar to yours in that I approach it from, instead of just not caring, like just kind of the principle of not caring, I always approach it from assumed failure. And I'm like, well, if it's going to fail anyway, then I don't need to make it anything different than exactly what I want it to be.
What could
it's gonna
fail?
fail.
What could fail about me and you on the internet? Like
Well,
beauty and like
Yeah.
just studs.
I will say we started at 4 viewers and we're at 11 now, so maybe failure is not the word I want
Musical
to.
geniuses. Like how would I ever think that this could fail?
I don't know how, but that's all I think. I'm like, well, this is going to end so bad.
Yeah. All right. So what's your philosophy? We have some debates on, there's extremes to making art. Like some people just want to make art, don't even share it with anybody. It's a personal thing just because they love it. All the way to people who are trying to make it a business
Or chase the algorithm.
and run it like a business, etc. What are your thoughts on all that, and where do you find yourself?
I think there's room for it all. I
Come
think
on
it
now.
depends on how driven you are as a person and what your goals are for it. So if your goal is to just be the artist and just put it out there and let it do what it does, and whatever happens with that, that's fine. If your goal is to like really hustle, and be the next best thing or the next biggest, like that's great. Go do it. But I think there's a whole lot of gray area or middle ground in between those two things. And I think that's kind of where I fall, because I know a lot of the business part of it from doing like licensing and that kind of stuff. So for the last 2 years, I've been writing custom music for Disney and Nat Geo shows that, like nobody even really knows about. But I get to watch these shows with my kids, and I get to hear my music on those shows. And
That's cool, man.
That's cool.
But
Yeah.
so, for me, it's more like I understand the business part of it enough to where if enough people really like what I'm doing and I want to turn this into more of a business, I can do that. And that's kind of my plan. It's really more of a long-term thing. So like what I'm doing now is planting seeds for where I hope to be in 3 to 5 years.
Where do you hope to be in 3 to 5 years?
I would like to just be releasing new music to like a core group of fans that really appreciate what I have to say and offer and resonate, and kind of just have my own small community. And then with my kids,
all right, so he should be the leader of the channel.
Yeah, probably should.
Well, how do we need to do the transfer of power? What are the protocols?
And let me go ahead and tell you, if you text me and I don't answer back for a week, it's just normal. That's how it goes around
That's
here.
just going to happen. Well, folks in the chat, let us know what kind of we need a special service
Yeah.
to transfer the power, the massive power that I have.
I have to politely decline because I have 2 kids and you have 1. So, that second.
I would
child just-
argue more of a reason for you to take over the You're more of a family man.
It ties in so well to what we're talking about. Gigi Sweeney said earlier, if it's not worth doing, it's not worth doing well.
That's great.
Well, yeah. So I accept. They are right. It has to be some sort of hillbilly coronation. So you just come to the backyard.
That's a good album title for your next one. Hillbilly Coronation.
Yeah.
That's got to be a song, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
But
you.
would it be Hillbilly Corn Nation?
Coronation. Coronation.
Yeah. Corn Nation.
All right. So thank God I just freed up the rest of my Tuesdays for the rest of my life. It's all on
man.
you, Joey.
I can't carry that weight, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. Just let me come back on and hang out occasionally, because
You just wait till
I have 0 friends. So
you wait till they start throwing money at you. Then it gets hard.
It gets hard to say you ain't coming back next week.
Man, you want to play another one for us?
Yeah, man. I'll do it.
By the way, you go whenever you need to go. I know you got. They're asleep though. What time you got to be at work?
Work. Is this
Come on.
What day is this?
Disney and Nat Geo.
He's only on Disney and Nat Geo.
Yeah, I mean, I get to work from home,
Nice.
which is really cool. So I don't necessarily have a. I used to be like I was a night owl, man. My bedtime was 3, 4 in the morning, sleep until 10, and then I start my day, and I do a regular day like everybody else. It just starts about 4 hours after everybody. but when I had kids, it was like, man,
Can't do it.
this is gonna kill me. These mornings are gonna absolutely kill me. But now I kind of like the mornings, so.
By the way, we got a $20 tip from my man Brent Boland. Then we got a $10 tip from Cody Myers saying, I don't have social media, so just come back on and sing us more songs, please.
I'd be glad to. I don't get to do this very often, so I really appreciate that. Did you guys disappear? There you are.
Yeah, I want you to sing a song, man. I will let you do your thing.
Okay. I didn't realize that I was going into the chamber of silence for that to happen. All right. Here you go. Here's one I wrote this past week, and I hadn't even played the full thing through. So you can tell me if it's worth the shit or not. Flickering street lights, painting the night, whistling tree lines, just out of sight, whispering sweet lies, playing both sides. Don't care if it's wrong, 'cause nothing feels right. Caught up in daydreams, lost in the scenes, pulling on loose strings, seen and unseen, quietly screaming, turn off the screens. Get back to the things that matter to me. Maybe it's all in my head, and there's not a damn thing I can do. Maybe I made my own bed when I got up and left without you. Somehow I knew, but that's nothing new. Summer's in full bloom, and there's sweat on my brow. Wish I could forget you, but I don't know how. But wait for the sun to break through the clouds, but I'm not convinced it would matter much now. Maybe it's all in my head, and there's not a damn thing I can do. Maybe I made my own bed when I got up and left without you. Somehow I knew, but that's nothing new.
I love that, but I think that next time you should buy me a drink before you take me for a waltz.
Oh shit, Chuck.
Oh shit, Chuck is right.
Man, read me those lyrics to that first verse, because Chuck missed it, and then he
you
came
don't
in.
remember it.
Then he came in and started yapping. And actually, I was the one talking.
Flickering street lights, painting the night, whistling tree lines just out of sight, whispering sweet lies, playing both sides. Don't care if it's wrong, 'cause nothing feels right.
All right, those last two lyrics. Break those down to me. What does that mean to you? Because I'd rather hear what you have to say about it than my idiot self talking.
I don't want to be wrong
Get
in public.
Get your wise ass talking. Let me shut the hell up.
Why don't you tell me what you think it means?
Nope.
Can I go? Read it to me again. I'll go first. I'm just
the
going to go
last
cold.
two lines. Go cold turkey.
Here we go.
What? Don't care if it's wrong because nothing feels right?
Yeah, that one and the one before it.
Oh, whispering sweet lies, playing both sides. Don't care if it's wrong because nothing feels right. Mm-hmm.
What you got? Cold.
That song is just a good old-fashioned country cheating song. That's just a cheap motel whiskey 8-ball song right there. That is just, I said I wouldn't do it with Destiny down at the Gentleman's Club again, and here I am, and my whole paycheck is gone. Type of cheating song. Told you I was going in cold, folks.
And that
Context free.
You want to talk about authenticity?
That was authentic Chuck. Did
That's
you ever?
just authenticity
Yep.
just pouring out.
Yep. Oh, dirty South.
Yeah, I think for me it was more about like the lies you tell yourself.
That was it. That's what I was going to say. I was literally, nobody's going to believe me, but that's what I thought.
Nobody watches a soap opera about the lies you tell yourself, guys. Everybody wants to know about Destiny and the
I
8-ball
know.
down at the Whiskey Inn.
So,
Because there isn't a soap opera like that.
that's right.
We have,
We've yet to make it.
right, exactly.
All right, so I also took it as the lies that we tell ourselves. And one question that I like to ask people when we do these things is, what is one lie that you tend to believe about yourself? I got a lie.
That I don't deserve the good things that happen to me.
Come on now.
I don't deserve to be as lucky as I have been.
You have that feeling that you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, even when things are good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm constantly looking up, waiting for that size 12 to come on down. But
I saw a TikTok. I saw a TikTok the other day where it was like making fun of deconstructed Christians, and it was just basically being like, we're whining that we had to go to Sunday school and hear that Jesus loved us. And I'm like, that wasn't the message that we heard the whole time. We heard that as like part of but the good news is, but we got an awful lot of, I've got some bad news before we got the good news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like waiting for the other shoe to drop or waiting to be punished for something that I've done is such a thing that I carry out of my religious upbringing, that feeling like that.
yeah, I am learning how to now realize that I can allow the good things that happen when they happen, and I don't have to judge it one way or the other of like, well, I don't deserve this or I do deserve this, or it's not about whether or not I deserve. It's just like, it's just being present. Being present enough to actually receive whatever the hell it is that's coming my way, and not have any kind of, well, this is because of the past or this is because of the future. I don't, and that's different for me because it's always been through the filter of the past or the future. Whether it's in what I've done in the past that wouldn't make me deserve this, or what, like whatever my punishment is going to be in the future because of what, So yeah, that's probably the biggest lie that I believe about myself. Is that somehow I don't deserve anything good to happen to me, but I can just allow it, and I just take the whole deserving part out of it, and then it's problem solved.
I think it's really interesting the point you made about not being able to live in the present, because how I feel the same way. Like how we grew up, like all that was talked about was either your past or your future. Like, could you explain that a little more about how your experience? Because I've never thought about it that way either. I'm just gonna take me to therapy one time.
I think that's part of a Southern thing too, is that you talk about your past accomplishments, and that like, especially with your family, you know, like I remember you were 6 years old and you sang something in church and everybody just loved it, you know. And it's like they point out your highlights, and then they say like, man, I can't wait to see where you're gonna go and where you know what the Lord has in store for you, or what, you know, however they decide to frame it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not go. I'm 38, man. I ain't going no. Like this is it.
Nah, see, now we're
This
about to
is
get
it.
into it with Mean Girls in the chat. She says Southerners hog all the trauma. Save some for the Catholics. No, y'all been like patting yourself on the back for your guilt forever, and you got nothing on Southern Baptist
Look,
guilt. I'm telling you. You went into the box and you made some recitations, and your family made you
Y'all
feel
can't
bad
even compare.
for not doing things. But at Southern Baptist, we were constantly on the verge of hellfire.
All the time.
And all it took was one awkward, inappropriate boner and just damnation.
Yeah, I think Texas Cyclone had a great point. You know, it's all trying to be a good surfer.
Hallelujah.
Accepting what the wave gives you and working with the wave instead of necessarily
Midge was raised Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
trying to go against it. But really, yeah, like growing up, it is so much about like the stories that are told about your past or what the expectations are of you in the future. And it's not always, you don't hear it very much of, hey man, you're doing great right now. Really love hanging out with you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Isn't it nice to be here right now?
right.
Yeah.
It's because it's all about what, like I say, what you've done, and then like what's going to happen to your eternal soul.
Is there anything, Joe, you'd like to say to me right now?
Is there anything I'd like to say to you, Bert?
Like it's been great hanging out with you, Joey.
Yes.
It's I'm enjoying the man. Hey, Rio.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
There he is.
I was fishing for a compliment, Joey. You weren't catching it. I was wanting you to talk about how great I was.
Which is what he always wants, if we're being honest about
I
it.
haven't gotten to that yet, Bert.
What up, dude?
Yeah, you laid it up there, but I wasn't ready to. I wasn't ready to dunk.
Here they are.
Okay.
What are on those shoes, man?
Dinosaurs.
Can you
Dude,
say
those are
hey
killer.
to? Can you say hey to Joey and everybody else?
Yeah.
Talking to Mike.
Hey.
You want to
Hey,
sing
Rio.
a song? What song are we gonna sing?
Oh my dad.
Old MacDonald. Oh, you gonna sing with me? Old MacDonald had a farm.
Bum,
E-I-E-I-O.
bum, bum.
Boom, boom. What's your favorite animal on that farm, man?
A dad.
A cow.
Yeah. That's one of my guys' favorites too.
What's the cow say?
Moo.
Yeah. I like those dinosaur shoes, buddy.
He says thank you.
Where they going?
Man, you talk about a sweet kid. If I had a kid, the kid would not be like that. I promise you. And that's not just me worrying about the other, I might not believe in all the things that they scared us with back in the day, but I believe in karma a little too much to try myself against my own teenage child.
I never thought that I really wanted kids, honestly. I was like, the karma thing. It's like, I'm not going to be a good dad, but man, I wouldn't change it for anything.
Right.
But dude,
So how does it affect you as an artist, as a creative, as a songwriter? Do you feel like did it like put your spirit in a certain framework? How does being a father affect you as a songwriter?
You tired all the time. You ain't got no.
Besides
you ain't got no
besides
energy.
logistics, let's leave logistics.
All right, spiritual and mental.
Emotionally and
All right.
mentally, yeah.
Oh man, it's a lot of it. It really, most of it comes down to I had to learn how to be patient with myself so that I could be patient with my kids. I have to learn how to emotionally regulate myself so that I can raise emotionally regulated kids. And really just having to slow down and think about things from a much broader perspective kind of helps me as an artist put words to those kinds of things. So maybe it's not all about my kids, but maybe some of the things that I've learned from having kids make their way into the music.
Yeah.
And but I think on the other hand of it, we made up, like me and my wife, we make up stupid songs all the time. Like every day we're making up some other stupid song about the kids, like because that's what helped us get through. So like we had songs about changing diapers, and we had songs about breastfeeding and burping and hiccups, and there's a song for all of it,
Yeah.
I still sing those songs, and my kids still laugh at it, Like there's a James Brown, like got some poop in my pants type song, I was thinking, I was like, well, man, I just need to put an album together of these. Some of these, but yeah, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's work. It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
and I don't know, man. I used to not be good at, like, if I didn't have 3 or 4 hours to sit down and dedicate to doing something creative, and I couldn't finish it, or I couldn't like get a good bit of it finished, it's like that's a waste of time, And now, like when I got 30 minutes, I'm like, man, what can I come up with in 30 minutes? What creatively can I do in 30 minutes? And then I just record it, like whether it's on my voice memo or I dictate something into my notes on my phone, or I actually set up a session and record something. But man, those things have added up over the last 3 years. And I've been more productive than ever since I had kids than I was before I had kids, and I had all the time in the world. And it's really just more of like, I understand the value of small investments of time now that I took for granted when I was
My
younger.
wife would agree with you. She's experienced I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, I would say this. You guys are really good about partitioning time.
I was
responsibly.
trying to make a sexual joke, and it did not.
I always assume you're not making a sexual joke.
Normally, I'm not. Normally, that's your job. And as I was like getting into the sexual joke, I was like, I'm leading
Nobody's
up.
gonna- yeah.
I'm not landing the plane well. It is gonna be a crash. Sorry.
Hey, so Bert, so this is the time where I talk about how great you are.
You see that power right there? You see
Watch,
me?
he's gonna mute your
You
channel.
see me muting you?
This is what he
Yeah, you
does.
just got muted. See that's not
what he
how
does.
this works. The only talking about me
Holds all the cards.
is going to be completely about being the worst person of all time. So I'm gonna slowly, I'm gonna lean you back up.
But
You better watch your ass though. I'll mute that.
I will mute that ass. I will mute that
Mute
ass.
that ass. Why don't you play us another song, man, and get on out of here with all that bullshit.
All right.
Man, when I talk about the unskilled labor of love, just hanging out with this dude is an unskilled labor of love. It is an endurance challenge. It's like one of those races that also has an obstacle course on it.
Oh my God, man.
Lord.
All right. I'm gonna play a song that's not finished yet. I got 2 verses and 2 choruses, and but I like it, so I'm gonna play it. Yeah, this song is talking about kind of when you're young, you think you're invincible. You know, when I grew up in Clarksdale, it's the home of the blues, and I hated the blues when I grew up there. I didn't get it. I was like, why can't these guys play more than 3 chords and say something else, you know? And then you get your heart broken that first time, and you're like, oh, I get it now. I understand this, you know. But, you know, when you're young, you completely fall into it, and you think, you know, it's just the honeymoon phase, and you think everything, you know, and then like Chuck, you were saying, the other shoe falls, and you understand reality. You get a good dose of reality for that first time. So this song is kind of about that first dose of reality. I can solve this. It's just another riddle. But the truth is, I don't know if it'll change your mind. And by the solstice, I remember thinking that there's a good chance we're not gonna make it this time. It's gonna hurt worse than a 30-foot fall, full of sharp words that cut you like the gravel. It's gonna feel worse than a busted jaw. Even that's got nothing on betrayal, so I wire it shut, drink through a straw, and bite my tongue till I'm done with it all. But for now, it's gonna burn like alcohol. We were young then, strung out on ambition, just some dumb kids, hell-bent on dismissing the signs. So when the storm hit and tore away the ceiling and the dust cleared, there was no way of resealing the divide. It's gonna hurt worse than a 30-foot fall, full of sharp words that cut you like the gravel. It's gonna feel worse than a busted jaw. Even that's got nothing on betrayal, so I wire it shut, drink through a straw, bite my tongue till I'm done with it all. But for now, it's gonna burn like alcohol.
Sad Chad, Sad Dad says, I've heard this before. Thanks, TikTok. So apparently he has been keeping up with you on TikTok, or caught a little bit of this on TikTok.
Chad's got to get off TikTok now.
Also, right
much time.
at the time that you said it's going to burn like alcohol, which we all know is flammable, TLP tags himself and says, waves lighter. Irresponsible behavior around burning alcohol.
He's obviously the youngest of us. So
This guy
he's
just,
going to
he's
be
untamable.
unhinged.
Yeah.
Appreciate the kind words.
That was such a great song, man. That was so good.
So we just came up with a new segment that we want to start doing for all our interviews. And because Chuck, in the middle of you singing the song, we're talking about how much we enjoyed it. He said that these songs produced by or like backed by this band would sound so cool. So my question that I'm going to ask the chat is, what band would you have to back Joey? Or Joey, your dream band, if you were to have a band to back you, who would it be and why? So everybody let us know in the chat.
Yeah, this is a little bit different than our highwayman debate. We're not really thinking about what players you want in your band. It's like, what would your album sound like? Like, what band would your album sound like if you were going to have them as your backing band? Who would it be?
Yeah, and so Chuck's got his idea already. So who would your ideal backing band be, Joey? Or not even backing band, but like if someone were to produce your record and be like, I want it to sound like this band.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd probably be like Sunvolt
Come on.
for some reason. I love the pedal steel.
Yeah.
And there's a guy named Devin Tarrin on TikTok, and he's duetted a couple of my songs and put pedal steel on it. And it's just like all of a sudden it just came to life. So yeah, like I want that component in what I do with like a full band setting. But yeah, there's something about like that Straightaways album for me that I don't know if it's like the time in my life, but
What year is that?
that was like it's like 97, 98.
Okay.
I think it was 97 that got released, and but I don't know. I like that kind of that kind of grit, and I love the soaring pedal steel in that, and so yeah, I like all these suggestions. Like these are great. Like
There's
great.
some great. See, that's why I think this is fun because as songwriters, like it's. I don't know if you'd agree with this, but it's so hard to know what roads to walk down because you can make or you can try to make records that sound like Turnpike
So many different ways.
or sound like something else, but to hear people who have never heard you sing before and like what they hear your acoustic song becoming a full band song,
Yeah.
it's so cool. And so we got the Heartbreakers, we got John Calvin Abney on a telly, and that's it. He's
Yeah, Sad Chad just wants you to have one second guitar.
man.
And that's it.
So that's the guy that previously played with John Moreland. I don't think he's playing with him anymore, but that would rule. We got Turnpike Brothers Comatose. Cody says I'm hearing
Guar behind the acoustics and vocals. Yeah, I think definitely a kind of a low key Guar. It's kind of dialed back in the mix so you can still hear all the texture of the acoustic.
Right.
I think maybe you're dressed like a member of Guar, but not as cartoonish. It's just your normal body, but there's still lots of blood and.
Yeah. Yeah, I can pull that off without a costume.
I think we've.
Lucero's a great band, by the way.
No doubt, no doubt.
And-
Okay, so we got our buddy Sean saying TK and the Holy Know Nothings.
Shout out.
Have you heard them? Have
I
you
have
listened
not.
to them?
And that's what's cool about this is I'm seeing a lot of things that I know by name, but that I haven't really delved into. Because that's the other thing is like my reference for all this music that I'm writing is from 20 years ago. So like as far as like how I want it to sound with a band, so I don't really have as many like modern type references. Like I want this to sound like this or that. So it's very much still up in the air. I do have some like full band, a couple of full band ones already done, but and I like how they turned out. But I'm like this is going to be an ever evolving thing, I think, because there's a lot of different players that I love that I want to. I want to have the opportunity to have them on my records.
Right.
all right. So go ahead and lay yours down, man. Everybody said theirs.
I think that your songs would sound great produced in the style of the War on Drugs. I think that would really be like your chord structures and your melodies and your vocal tone would sound really cool tucked into a lot of ambience around those structures and everything.
That's cool. I can get with that.
But since that, Chad Dan said Ronnie Simpson on the cajon.
Ronnie Simpson don't play no damn cajon. I can tell you that.
That dude, he doesn't touch anything but a Fender Stratocaster, and it's in two-tone sunburst because the 3 is too soft.
What's your take, Bert?
Man, I was hearing a lot of like laid back Counting Crows. Like if you could take like the bigness of the Counting Crows and like shrink it down and minimalize it to a small band, but still that I don't know, that Counting Crows like kind of
It's like that that acoustic live album they did with where they did what was that one? Shit. It was like my favorite thing that they did that wasn't actually like their album, where they changed that song. Well, I guess you left me with some feathers in my hand. Did it make it any easier to leave me where I stand? I guess there might not be too many who stand beside you now. Where'd you come from? Where am I going? Why'd you leave until we're only good for waiting for you? All my sins said that I would pay for them if I could come back to you. All my innocence is wasted on dead-end dreaming. What they did with that song
It is so good.
Just gonna pull that out of his ass. He's gonna pull it out like, oh man, oh that band you said.
Man.
So like what I hear is like, this is maybe gonna make sense to us because we're old as hell, but like Counting Crows storyteller vibes.
Yeah, I can get with that for sure.
is what I hear.
Yeah, we're getting more pressure from the chat to get you to listen to TK on the Holy Know Nothings. We'll
I
make
will
sure
do
you
it.
get some links on that
I'm gonna
stuff, man.
spam him.
Spam you with some TK. We got introduced to that stuff, and it kind of I don't want to give anybody credit for giving it to us because I'm afraid it might go to somebody I don't like. But we kind of got like surprised by it during the stream. Like we watched it for the first time, and we were like, "What is this? I love this!"
Yeah.
And it just got like better and better until eventually I can't stop telling everybody I talk to about this song they got to check out. You know.
Hell yeah. I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, man, it's great stuff for sure.
Well, man, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, buddy. Where can the people? So you're about to upload some new music, right? So is it just Joey Plunkett music, kind of all over the place?
Yeah, it's going to be joeyplunkett.music wherever I can do that. It'll be that on all the socials except for Facebook. I don't have a music one yet on Facebook, but on TikTok and Instagram, joeyplunkett.music. It'll be the same thing when I start a YouTube channel and start posting the same shorts up there. And then just look for Joey Plunkett on Spotify. Probably around the middle of June, I'll have a 5-song acoustic EP out, and then I'm just going to start releasing music
Nice.
the whole rest of the year after that. So
Nice.
Well, hell yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. You got one more song to send us out, man? I feel like every time I've heard one of your songs, I've been like, man, why have I been talking this whole time, and why hasn't he just been playing?
you want a feel good song? You want a sad song, bitch?
Well, ain't nobody came up in here for feel good.
I ain't never tried to feel good a day in my
good
life.
Once.
I always will choose the sad song.
I'd go watch TV if I wanted to feel good.
I'd
watch the news if I wanted to feel good.
sad all day long.
Sad all day. All right. Let's see. Some days are so heavy, it feels like I'll get buried by the weight that I was never meant to hold. Some days are disjointed, and I wake up disappointed for reasons that I can't always control. So I'm letting go of some things that didn't serve me in my past. I'm saying no to that voice that keeps me finishing and last. I'm picking up broken pieces to put myself together once again. 'Cause it turns out I might be my only friend in the end. Some
Time out. Time out.
Pause it. Pause it.
Time out.
If this was a video, this is when we pause it to explore a
When
lyric. We had to push pause on this video. Crushes. I was like, what if he just we were like, play something sad. What if he brings something that just destroys us? And you just kind of dismantled us over here on the other side of the internet.
Woo!
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why I'm gonna get a restraining order. You don't quit writing songs about my life.
Seriously, I feel like so many times on these live streams, we've tried to have like deep conversations about how we feel, and I feel like every song has been just such a better representation of all the bullshit that we've said.
I totally expected a lyric that, because I think you were in the rhyme scheme, that you were going to say it turns out I might be my own worst enemy. But when you said my only friend in the end, and so much of your viewpoint is about self-determination and being responsible for ourselves, and we're just over here just crying like two grown bitches.
Well, this next verse is for you.
All right, we're going to get out of this.
God,
We're going to get out of it. We're going to
damn
hit
it.
play again in this video.
Because I only have 2 verses right now. Some people don't make sense, so I try to keep my distance, just to stumble in the darkness all alone. Some dreams get so faded, but the heart is complicated, and you can't kill what's living deep inside your bones. So I'm letting go of some things that didn't serve me in my past. I'm saying no to that voice that keeps me finishing and last. I'm picking up broken pieces to put myself together once again. 'Cause it turns out I might be my only friend in the end.
The 2-verse guy.
He said he only had 2 verses for it.
He wasn't lying.
Yep. That's another one. Like, there's several of these that I still got another verse or a bridge to write, but I can't help but put them out when I have a verse and a chorus, just to kind of see, just to live with it for a little bit.
Hit me with that first verse again. Talk to me. Read me that first verse.
Some days are so heavy, it feels like I'll get buried by a weight that I was never meant to hold.
That one.
Yep.
That one.
Yep.
Some days
Yep.
are disjointed, and I wake up disappointed for reasons that I can't always control.
So I think one thing about it is, like, I would probably internalize those lyrics a certain way myself because of my experience, and to have the context of knowing you and having the shared experience and having the context of having this conversation with you tonight and knowing where those lyrics come from. I probably did not have enough emotional bandwidth to have asked for a sad song, so I will own my error.
Look, here. Let's flip the script.
You got any songs about big booted ladies? It is my forte. That sounds like a big booted lady chord.
It is.
Sitting at the station, hope my train shows up on time for a destination that's been weighing on my mind. Heading to my hometown, gonna see old friends of mine. I can't wait to leave this city life behind. Oh my God, how I miss the days of feeling so alive. Staying out till the sun turns into moonshine. Sit kicking back, sipping slow with good people that I know. I'm home again and feeling just fine. Yes, I'm home again and feeling just fine. There you go. There's a little happier one.
Give me that sad.
I like that the
Give me that sad.
that your happy song was sad as fuck.
Somebody asked me about, he's like, man, I like your songs, but they're just so sad. I was like, well, I don't really think I'm as sad. It's just more that I'm having tough conversations. But there is one thing about me that I cannot help but do, and there's always a sliver of hope in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. In every single song, there is going to be a sliver of hope, whether it's a lyric or whether it's a chord change that uplifts you. Because
Not none of my songs, but all right.
I got the songs where it's like the sliver of hope is there, but it slid underneath my fingernail. You know what I mean? And it's like, Gah!
I ain't allowing it. That dog
Hey,
opens
man.
that door one more time.
I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for putting up with me for a couple hours. And
No doubt, man. Great to see you again, dude.
yeah, you too. And just keep doing what the hell you're doing. Just keep going. People care. People listen.
That's what I keep saying.
You
I'm
know,
trying to quit every day.
I know, and I'm gonna have to talk you out of it every day. And that's just my dang job. So
That's right. We got our hands.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna be my therapist.
it's my job. It's what I do. Oh man. Well, hey, thanks for all the people that have been in the comments and just saying some nice things. I really appreciate that.
Jordan Heath definitely wins MVP of the night.
Yep.
He has been saying a lot of very kind things.
Yeah,
Jordan.
yeah.
Mainly the comment about watching me and Chuck being best friends is the best part.
Also-
that was my favorite.
Also, Mingers has been just throwing it out there tonight, taking no
Yeah.
prisoners. For a little while, it was just Oklahoma was just teeing off on religion up in there between her and Sad Dad. What a great night, y'all.
Well, this was, Joe, this is the most fun I've had in a long time, man. Thank you so much for coming on. We love you, man. Hopefully, if you come around this area anytime, he seems like a guy that can fix a lot of things. Come over to my house. I'll get you to fix some things in my house.
Hey man, I'm pretty handy. So
Cody said, might as well quit. I'm Team Joey now. Going to have to get my Burt by the Tramp stamp lasered off.
All of y'all gonna have to get your tramp stamps lasered off now.
We'll talk about the transfer of power and how I'm going to give you my massive 10 people live streams. But he's already said no, so we'll have to figure out some incentives. That
We're gonna do what's called a hostile takeover, where we force you to hostile takeover this.
I'm telling you, Jordan Heath's over here just trying to win an award for kindest man of all time. Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, man, glad you were able to make it. I've been here for a lot of them.
We've
They're
been here for
usually not
3
this
damn
good.
years.
Yeah,
We've been here
not
for
this
3
good.
damn years. Jordan, where you been?
You came to the right one. Let's just say that you came to the right one.
Yeah,
Jordan.
the rest of them.
I think the torch should be passed that I just beat you down with your own self-deprecation and let everybody just watch. And
I do that enough. I feel like they're sick of that.
yeah, but
But look,
you beat
your
yourself
sliver
down,
of hope.
But I don't. We haven't seen anybody beat you up with your own words. So
Oh, challenge accepted. Yeah. I'm going to be like, so we have a surprise guest, and then I'm pushing buttons over here, and then it's just me and Joey just like tag team,
yep.
Beating me down, I feel like that would,
2-on-1 match.
it would make me more powerful. It would just, all of the self-deprecation would just.
Come on, boy. I ain't afraid of you. I ain't afraid of nobody.
Well, hey, it seems like a good time to sign off as Springer would, talking about whooping each other's asses and stuff.
Rest in power, King.
Yeah.
Rest in power.
Thank you guys, man. Be kind to yourselves and each other.
All right, you too, buddy. Every Tuesday, Jordan, we'll be here, man, until I quit. Love y'all.
Big thanks to Joey Plunkett.
Love Joey.
Jackson forever, Clarksdale forever, Clinton some of the time, you know.
Mississippi, can't get out of it.
Mississippi, baby. Mississippi.
See you, buddy. Have a great night, everybody.